So we are started recording, and now I'm gonna waste time. This is me wasting time.
Wasting time, wasting time.
Ah,
Sounds like
copyright.
you've done this before.
What, wasting time?
Yeah.
I mean, every day. It seems we're wasting away. It's all the same. Bon Jovi lyrics. Demonetized.
Hey, like Frankie said, I did it my way.
Okay, here we go. Oh, jam! Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Manapool. This is episode 521 of the Manapool, right? Oh god, I didn't look. I just changed the number.
Sounds good to me.
It should be.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. And yeah, this is episode 521. We are live on Twitch as always. So any Thursday night, you should totally come hang out with us on twitch.tv/themanapool, where you can be part of the live audience. Yay.
Yay.
Yeah.
Huzzah.
Last week they even got to participate in the show.
That is true, yeah. And did you see that we made the front page of Wizards with Never Trust Twitch Chat?
I did, actually. I did.
Made me very happy. So, dear listeners, this is a long-awaited episode.
Longer, I think, than we realized.
Just a bit, yeah, because we are going back to Trivester. Trivester. It's a guy that's wearing
Either
3
are
vests. He's a trivester. Which is Brian's custom RPG system thing. Custom.
Yes.
It's not like we're just doing D&D with magic characters. No. Brian
No.
went ape.
If it was just D&D, then the rules would be a lot more coherent, and we would understand what was happening more of the time. So bear with me. But yeah. So I feel like and we were talking about this. We didn't realize that it had been quite so long since we had done an RPG episode. And looking back, I wanted to re-listen to the last episode, make sure I had the relevant plot points in my head. And I did the search on the website, and I'm like, this says the last episode aired in July of last year. And I facepalm.
Got there.
Because that's over a year. And I knew it wasn't yesterday, but so yeah. So we had said before the show that, I mean, usually it's a good couple months between episodes anyway, so it's not a bad idea to run through some of the stuff that had happened. But I thought this time, while I don't want everyone to feel like we're just regurgitating, thought that it may not be a bad idea to do a brief overview of what we have done so far, just in general, because there are going to be some people that haven't been listening to us for, 100 episodes and may not have caught all these things. So we'll start filling in some of the gaps, and I want everybody to go over their character just a little bit, make sure everybody has a grasp on what the plot has been so far. Way back when, these guys did some character creations, and each of them controls a planeswalker. And looking at the Twitch stream, let's go in order. So obviously, I'll skip. I'm the GM or the game master. Hey, Mike, who's your character?
So my character is Karim Ferris. He's a human soldier, red aligned. He's originally from Chandalar, and the first plane he planeswalked to was Tarkir.
Yes. All right. Dirk?
Dirk is muted.
Sorry. My character's name is Alaric Cross, and my character is a human monk who's originally from the plane of Innistrad, and the first plane that he walked to was Theros.
Okay. And Chewie.
I feel horribly unprepared. I am the angel. Apparently, I either don't have or don't know my name. And I don't have information on where I'm from or where I walked, but that could be because I don't have the right thing open, or because we don't know.
You're the angel, and that was actually the name you gave because you determined that your character, through some of the things she has been through, has lost some of her identity. We'll get back to that later as the story progresses. Your plane of origin was Fiora, aka the setting for conspiracy. So a nice, happy upbringing. And then the plane of fear, first planeswalk was to Wrath, pre-overlay. So right from one happy situation into another. Gee, I wonder why, you're
I don't
having.
remember anything.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah. I now
yeah.
have the proper thing open. Nice.
Yes. So, these guys were hanging out where our story began. These guys were hanging out on Ravnica, sitting back, shooting the stuff. And I believe someone had said, hey, I've never really seen a dragon before. And Alaric goes, dragons? I don't know anything about dragons because I'm looking at the wrong character sheet. Karim said, dragons? I've been to Tarkir. I know where we got some dragons. Got some supplies together, tried to planeswalk over there, and something weird happened in, that space between realms. And they found themselves kind of knocked into a plane that none of them were familiar with, the aforementioned Trivester, or Man of Three Vests. And, no, not really, Trivester. They were at the bottom of a crater, and they were trying to figure out what was going on, tried to planeswalk away. No go. They were still able to call on mana, but most of their previous sources of mana were denied to them. So they start looking around a little bit, start getting to know the natives a little bit. Anybody? So it's not just me talking the whole time. Anyone recall any of your earlier adventures as far as some of the lore you've picked up on, or do you just want me to keep going?
Nah, just go for it.
Just going. All right. So they found themselves in this little crater, wandered around a little bit, found a settlement, and everybody's like, hey, look, travelers, and everybody seems to be fairly deferential to them. And they kind of picked up on the fact that that planeswalking to this place, was something that some of the relatives were maybe more used to. Most planes you go to, people are like, planeswalkers, other planes of existence, burn the witch, she must be crazy. But they also made it pretty clear it's not something that's happened in a while. And they start wandering around. They leave the settlement, and they find out that most of the plain seems to have a great deal of forest and vegetation, and it's pretty easy to get lost around here. It can be a little difficult and a little bit of backtracking and all that. They run into some early creatures, but they don't have any issues. A lot of them seem to be sleeping thanks to my dice rolls. So all my earlier attempts to kill them, give them an interesting story, failed. And then they were heading toward Edda, which was a city on a lake, and they were getting close, and they had a close encounter with a merfolk. I like how Karim thought it was a fortune teller because that's what it billed itself as, and I tried to give him every indication that something may be up with that, and it tried to cast a spell at him, and thanks to some lousy rolls, it didn't work out. So Karim rears back and punches it, and we look at the damage, and its head is gone. So from then on, the locals tell the legend of Karim the Blood Fist. So isn't he a playable character on Overwatch now? Guy with the big fist.
Yeah, the Blood Fist. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, inspiring
Sure.
other mediums.
God, wait, hang on. Doomfist release date. July 18th, 2017.
That was, oh my god, that was the day before.
Well, no, but that was the last time you're taking July was the last time we did it.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That had happened sometime before. I also would like to point out real quick that listeners were saying because we've been doing this for a while, that when Ixalan came out and it was like, Jace can't leave, no one can leave, somebody was like, Manapool, RPG, doing this for years now. So, you know, it's mostly because we don't get to this very often. I'm sure Wizards doesn't owe me anything in terms of royalties. anyway, no, they really don't. So they cross the bridge, they go to Edda, and one of the first things the angel does is said, I want to buy me a sword. And they wander through. There's a shopping district. Everybody picks up some gear, including the angel grabs a claymore. Karim goes a little bit bonkers and buys some iron daggers, a scimitar they recognize as having the Boros symbol on it. What could that mean? And a dour bark shield, which came in handy later. We'll get to that. And then Alaric bought a bow and a light buckler, as well as 15 silver arrows and 5 iron arrows, which he's managed to hold on to because every time he shoots something, he's like,
That's
then
one.
I go pick up the arrow. Waste not.
There's
want
silver
not.
arrows. You gotta conserve that.
It's true. From there, they went to.
Yeah, you need the silver arrows to kill Ganon.
Ah.
Yeah.
It's true. All right. Sorry. A little distracted. But moving right along, as far as the story goes, they went to the central location of Edda, which is the library, because everybody loves a library, right?
Let's go to the library.
I'm not. Oh, is that like the lobby? I wasn't sure what we were doing here. Okay, I apologize. And then while there, they learned themselves a thing or two. They looked at some books. They met with the librarian Erideth, who is an elemental, and I think I was using the improper pronouns when referring to them. But they learned a little bit about the plane, and they were kind of given directions as far as where they could go next. Basically, head east, gentlemen, head east. And they left from there. Although they did have a great time at the bar, I gotta say. They stopped at the bar on their way out of town, and 2 of them had a very good time. One of them with a waitress.
Gotta drag them back.
Yeah. Dirk, or sorry, Karim was kind of Alaric was the one that basically Steve took them back to the hotel. They slept it off. But the angel was having a really, really, really good time with a waitress, and we'll just leave it at that. So
you need to go back and listen to that episode.
These guys, by the way, are having a lot of fun with this, and I certainly hope the listeners are too. But it's coming through a lot, and I appreciate it. So they get up, they get going, they go to the city of Tyr, and it's in a more mountainous region. But they find out they can learn a little bit there because another planeswalker had left his notes there, and and he was apparently the king of Tyr, and they were hoping to speak to him. Fortunately, by the time they get there, they figure out that he's not around anymore. I'm trying to see if it's his grandson or his son, Artosis, is there, and while they're there, Alaric is getting a weird vibe, and Karim points out later that there might have been a little bit of something going on here, what with all the silver in the place and the Avacyn collars and whatnot. But he doesn't have a whole lot of information to provide as far as planeswalking, because he's not a planeswalker. It was his ancestor, great grandson of Rafe, who was one of the founders of Tyr. And he says, all right, you're welcome to stay, but please don't, and go. Again, just going through this, trying to go through this at a pretty rapid pace. They did spend a decent amount of time questioning him, but as the day wore on and got closer to night, for some reason he got edgier and edgier, and these guys, instead of pushing the envelope, politely left, which I appreciate. I had drawn out a whole scenario if they wanted to push it, and it may have gotten a little messy. But let's not go into what didn't happen. Let's talk about what did.
Yeah. Let's not make a walled city full of soldiers angry at us.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Everybody there seemed fairly nationalistic. Nobody was like, "We hate our king," who may or may not do weird things at night. So you left. You stopped in a swamp. You killed some skeletal snakes, and you start to get close to the giant tree that takes up a great deal of the middle of the map. And you started to get close to it. You saw some giant root systems. Somebody stepped on a root and went, "Oh, I don't feel so good." And then the angel used her powers of spiritual awareness to try and get in tune with what was going on and realized this whole place, and especially these roots, are flooded with mana, like to the point that it like was creating this enormous pressure to leave. It didn't feel malevolent, but it was hard to be in their presence. So they leave. They stop for the night somewhere else and pick up some tasty fruitsies. And then they got into, after wandering around and ending up on a cliffside, they got into their first major encounter. And for the full details of that, listen to the last episode we covered with this episode. Don't have the name, the number, but they encounter a horde of goblins, a goblin gang, a goblin, whatever the plural is for goblins.
Goblins?
A roost of goblins.
Episode 471. Oh my god.
Yeah, see, and we're on episode 521 today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but they encountered a Nakatl being attacked by these goblins. And most of them went down without a fight, without too much of a fight. One of them, in fact, tripped and impaled itself because they're goblins.
Because goblins!
Because goblins. And Dirk shot one and got his arrow back. But the last one was a giant brute, and with a giant club, and actually scored some hits here and there, but was kind of taken down in pieces by everyone. And then Nakatl was very grateful and made it clear that she wasn't really supposed to interact with them. However, she did reveal that she was of the Vanna tribe, and that previously their role had been to oversee and watch over travelers to Trivester. But since Donathir, who was also known as the originator, had been gone, vanished, had not been seen around for a while, their role had become murkier and murkier to the point that they were basically just wandering from civilization to civilization. And the way that they were able to do that, despite the fact that the forest has enchantments on it to perpetually confound or make travel between civilizations difficult, was because of a map that Donathir granted to the leader of the Vanna, which would allow them to travel, actually go where they want to go on the plane. And she showed them a copy of it, the super breaking the fourth wall here, this super nifty map that Jars was awesome enough to illustrate for us. And she had informed them that, and this Nakatl, by the way, doesn't really have a name. She made it clear that in the Vanna, you don't always have a name until you perform some deed that makes you worthy of being named by the tribe. She made it clear that the leader of the Vanna, Shurok, could possibly answer more questions of theirs, but because it's kind of breaking protocol for them to even really interact with travelers and planeswalkers, she was going to kind of leave it up to them. And that, dear friends, is where we find our heroes, travelers, these guys. This is where we find these guys today.
That's us.
That's you.
Woot.
By my notes, that battle took a while. It's like a little after midday right now. So, any questions before we jump in?
Okay. Okay, wait. First, thank you, Vulpes V, for the sub. Welcome to the pool. Try to keep the kids from running. because you're a lifeguard. Get it? So during the last couple minutes of that, I was literally not paying attention because I was trying to find the Trivester map to put up on stream, but I don't know where I put it. So where are we right now?
As far as like your location on Trivester,
Sure.
or like where I'm trying to pin down the nature of your question. Like, where are you on the plane when you're looking at the map?
What are we doing right now? I don't care where we are in the grand scheme of things.
Right now, you were getting ready to follow the Nakatl back to the Vanna tribe.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Then I'm good.
Okay. All right. So you pack up your gear. You leave the cliff top where you had been, the small mountain cave where you had been fighting the goblin horde, and you follow this nameless Nakatl for a little ways. After about a mile or so, you find yourself back in the forest, and you come across what appears to be a small temporary settlement that appears to be made up mostly of some Nakatl, some humans, a couple elves, and it's fairly clear everyone is in light traveling gear, that this is not a permanent residence by anyone. It looks like they've got a couple tents set up and things like that. There's a couple people sparring, but no one seems to be engaged in any kind of permanent. If there's a word to describe it, it's a lack of permanence. As you sorry, I'm a little off my game today. I apologize. As you come into the area, activity around you ceases, and everyone is just kind of looking at you with a sense of disquiet. No one really runs up to you. They're all kind of like watching you from a distance. And then slowly but surely, one of the Nakatl separates herself from the rest and approaches approaches the three of you. She looks at you shrewdly and says, "What are you doing here?" And leading you in, of course, is the nameless Nakatl, and she recounts to this other Nakatl the story of how you saved her from the goblins. The two Nakatl go off to the distance a little ways and seem to have an animated discussion. And then the second one, the one you had not met previously, comes back to you. She says, "My name is Shurok. I am currently the leader of the Vanna. You have to forgive my rudeness earlier, but you have to understand that it's highly unusual for anyone, travelers, or you call them planeswalkers, or natives of this area, to encounter us. We make it we have a pride in keeping ourselves hidden from people." She stops talking and just kind of stares at you. It's pretty obvious she doesn't want to tell you more than she has to.
I forget which one of us was usually the face of this organization.
I mean, you all kind
That
of,
was
wasn't
you.
it? Yeah.
it kind of, I mean, I think
Okay.
you and the angel, I mean,
That's what I thought.
Kareem will
Yeah.
speak up every now and then, but he seems to be the quiet, introspective, like,
Alaric.
you know,
As
Alaric.
Alaric, what'd I
Oh
say?
my God, Brian!
Alaric.
I am so terrible at this game. You know, I'm going to lay these character sheets right here so that I don't get them mixed up, which means I'm going to get them mixed up.
Maybe
But
you
yes.
should like write the person's real name on it so you'll know who's.
Dirk. No, I'm doing it. Mike. And then Chewy's I don't need to, because the minute that I forget that Chewy's the angel, we're all having a bad time.
Yeah, there's a problem
So-
here.
Yeah. I'm bemoaned when we rolled the character sheets that two of them ended up on humans. I was like, that's boring, and they're like, no, we'll run with it, and I'm like, and I've been waiting to kill one of them off. I mean, nothing. So yes, I'm sorry. Alaric is the one that more seems to take in the scene versus the, blah, 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 and swords and blah, blah, blah. So she's still staring at you.
Yeah. Well, I believe you when you say it's such an unusual occurrence for people to stumble upon you. Some kind of fate must have brought us together. We've heard that travelers from other places haven't been on this world in a while, and we didn't expect to get here when we were traveling, and now we're just trying to leave, but we can't figure out how. You said that Donathir
Mm-hmm.
Donathir gave you a map of this place. Do you know? We're wondering if Donathir or anyone who knew him might be able to help us get back on our way home.
She does, at the mention of Donathir, she does smile. She does say, if anyone could help you leave, it would be Donathir. I can't explain why you can't leave, and in fact, I have not heard of anyone having that problem before. But while I have not seen Donathir in some time, if anyone could help you leave, it would be him. It's obvious that she seems to have a great respect for Donathir. She also used his name instead of the title.
That's right now.
What was that, Mike?
Huh? I was saying we certainly could use his advice right now. So.
Okay. Somehow, all I heard was right now. I didn't hear the first part of that. So
Yeah,
Sorry. My screensaver started coming on, and maybe my computer wigged out.
Okay. So you say, you said that you could certainly use his advice right now.
Mhm.
And at that, she gives a little laugh. I think all of us could use his advice right now. The price I wouldn't pay to know where he is. And she looks very forlorn at that thought.
Did he leave behind any clues as to where he might have gone?
She thinks about this.
Which is code for the game master thinks about this for a moment.
She actually does think about this for a minute. So do I. She responds slowly. Not many are aware of this, but I have had a bit of dealing with him before he disappeared. That being said, because of my role and my tribe's role, I am never in one place for too long. I cannot tell you exactly when he left or where he was going or why he left. All I can say for certain is that since he has left, things have changed. Which is the only way I know for sure that something is not right. She looks around her and she kind of gestures to the sky and the woods. This place may seem deep to you. It may seem confusing, especially due to the enchantments on it. But I tell you now that it is not half as alive as it used to be. It feels almost like it's winding down without him.
Well, that's probably not good.
She composes herself for a minute. You had asked about clues as to where he might have gone. I'm afraid I don't have anything as convenient as a hint for where he is or where you might look for him. But because I did know him just a bit, I can tell you that I was not the only one. There may be others who also interacted with him who may know more than I.
Okay, great. I was just about to suggest, since, you have responsibilities with your people here, and we honestly don't really have any other options. We could do the investigating if you could give us some good leads.
Very well then. If you head to the north, there is a, she almost calls it a city, fortification, shall we say,
Ugh.
in the mountains north of here. There you can find the leader of Nivelier. Ask for Icolnir. Icolnir. Do not be deceived by her appearance. There is more to her than there may seem. If you head east,
Just pause for a moment.
yeah,
Yeah. Start. Which Chewie was one of us who had been like designated to take notes on this stuff? I can't remember.
I don't know. I just jotted that down.
Oh, okay.
I thought,
Ask for
I thought-
Icolnir and then fortification to the north.
yeah, I thought somebody had been, but I didn't know if we had a designated person. And if you really need me to, I can always reference the notes. If you're like, hey, we were supposed to ask for Brian, who's this? I'm not going to hold it against your characters if you don't Now, guys, I told you it's an A with an E compounded into it, like Aether. It's not AE, So
Okay.
What did she just tell us about her appearance? Don't be
fooled by
okay.
by her appearance.
Okay. All right.
I wrote surprised. I'm like, no, that's not right.
She continues. If you head further to the east from our current location, you will come across a tower. The tower's name is Noatun. Noatun. Donathier spent a great deal of time at the tower.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I do not know if it is currently accessible. As far as who would have the key to that, you might have better luck asking the others. If you head west, past Drazil, of course, the giant tree, and to the south, you will eventually reach a series of ruins. Some of the only ruins, as a matter of fact, on the plain. They predate my time here, and I do not know what function they. And once you're there, you may or may not find a man, although when she says the word man, she has a funny look on her face.
I feel you, sister. High five.
Air quotes.
His name is Gandr, Gandr. Here she stops and looks at you very hard. Be very careful if you decide to go this way. Do not trust anyone or anything you see, except for possibly Gander. And even then, use extreme caution. He is not who he used to be. Finally, I know there is someone else that used to be very close to Donathier on this plane. Unfortunately, I have not seen her in some time, but it is said that she can move around the plane almost as well, if not better, than the Vanna.
Who's that?
She searches her thoughts. I feel almost embarrassed to say this. I feel like I should know her name. But anytime I try to recall it, it feels almost like there's something missing from my memory. Again, if you encounter this person, I would exercise caution. Something doesn't feel right. I think if you meet them, you will know what I am talking about. At this point, she shrugs. I'm sorry, I know how silly this must sound, but and she pauses and then starts again. Even trying to think of this person feels difficult. She straightens herself up. So those are the people that I feel that I know have interacted with Donathier in the past. I can't tell you for certain how long he's been gone, but I do know that no one has seen him in quite some time. I don't know that there's anyone else here who can help you.
So, listeners, if you're looking at the stream, then you'll see the map. And if not live, then feel free to pull up the map. I will have put a link in the show notes. So here in the dead center is the map, as the tree, Drazil.
Yes.
And over here to the right is the tower that he's talking about, which is Noatun. I'm guessing that this city-looking thing to the north is well, I don't think you gave it a name. The fortification with the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Did I not? I thought she did.
Oh,
but,
well, what was it?
Pulling it up. That would be Nivellir. I don't think I actually spelled it out. Nivellir.
Gotcha. And then I think that... Oh, no. Zoom. Can't zoom in. Piece of crap. Windows nonsense. Hey, Windows. Zoom. There we go. So I think the ruins are... Well, he said it's past the tree, so I think the ruins are just below the tree to the left. I think that's what I'm looking at there. Okay, and those are the places that Brian has pointed out. I wish I had a mouse cursor that you guys could see on stream, but I don't, so, you know, you're smart people, you'll figure it out. And for those of you watching, wouldn't or not watching, it wouldn't matter if I had a mouse cursor, because you still couldn't see it. But, like I said, link to the map will be in the show notes. Feel free to pull it up. Now, back to the game. Sorry.
No, that's all right. And I realized that was a fair amount of exposition dump, and I try not to do that a whole
This
lot.
expedition is a dump.
If you have been listening to these RPG episodes for a while, you'll know that I have been slowly dripping information at them, at their hungry mouths, like, you know, denying water to people that are really thirsty. So I've made them work for it. So hopefully this doesn't feel a little bit like, whoa. All right, back into it. So she draws herself up again and says, I apologize if I can't be of any more help to you. She sighs a bit. As you've heard, our role previously was simply to observe travelers to this. Since Donathier has been lost to us, quite frankly, we aren't sure what to do with ourselves. We pass the time, we watch for the signs of new travelers, we try and sustain ourselves as best as we can, and we keep up our nomadic lifestyle. Still, it feels good to help you on your way.
And if you have any questions for us as you observe, we'll do our best to answer them.
At this, she nods and thanks you very politely.
So where we want to go, guys?
About what time of day is it, Brian?
It's getting on toward dusk and evening time.
Okay.
Oh, is it evening time?
Yes.
Well, you guys want to
Camp for the night.
crash here with these nice...
Yeah, well, we'll ask.
Wait, were these Nakatl people?
Yeah, these are Nakatl people.
Okay, right.
It's a mix of
I'd
Nakatl and
look
other
around at the-
races, but they're mostly Nakatl, yes.
Yeah, I'd look around at the sky and our surroundings. Like, well, we don't want to impose, but would it be acceptable or appropriate for us to camp here with your tribe for the night before we set out to investigate.
She thinks about this for a second. Then she shrugs and says, "We've already broken tradition, even acknowledging our existence to you. At this point, I don't see that having you camp with us tonight could cause any more harm than we have already done. Please make yourselves welcome and help yourselves to what limited supplies we have."
Thank you.
So evening comes, you sit down with her and have a quick bite to eat. You want to appear hospitable, of course, I'm sure, unless you don't. That's really up to you. That's not up to me. But the Vannas seem to regard you warmly, although a bit apprehensively. Again, keep in mind, they are not used to interacting really with anyone. They are used to simply looking from the shadows, let alone with planeswalkers. But they seem at least outwardly. You notice that while they don't appear to carry many supplies with them, they don't seem to have any shortage of food. One or two of them are eating some of the fruit that you've carried thus far. Others seem to be eating some kind of boar, while others seem to be eating plants and animals that you have not encountered thus far.
No skeletal snakes.
No skeletal snakes.
Good. That would be suspicious.
Do you want to question them or interact with them in any way, or do you just want to eat your food and go to sleep?
I've done a lot of talking. Angel, Alaric.
Definitely want to fill up on food and make sure we're all good to go. So if we're,
Man.
so you, but I say, Karim has taken a beating. He probably needs to sleep off some injuries.
I'm a tough guy.
Wuss. Should I add? Wait, do we know what's up with the tree and why it is that when we got close to the tree, suddenly we weren't close to the tree anymore?
You were told, breaking out of it just for a second, in re-listening to the last episode, you were told by the nameless Nicodle that the locals regard Drazil with a certain sacred reverence. And she said that people that go there tend to not come back. But she didn't really give you any kind of explanation further than that. So if you just again making sure you because it's been a while, that's what had been discussed. If you have further questions in character, you can certainly ask.
Well, I'm pretty sure that a way then to break hospitality is to ask about religious things. So maybe not.
Piccolo is going nuts in chat about bonding to the land. I'm pretty sure we already tried that today.
Yep.
Oh, I don't even have chat up. Mm-hmm. Whoops.
Well, no, actually, you didn't. You didn't because you.
We haven't done it yet during this game day. Are you sure?
No, I'm sure because how this happened is you went to sleep in that grove of the fruit. You woke up there. Chewie was like, "Hey, maybe," or somebody was like, "Hey, let's try and get a little close to the tree again without getting sick. Form a mana bond." And so you started wandering through the forest. Lo and behold, because the deep green messes with you, you found yourselves at the mountain cave fighting the goblins, and you were like, "Goblins!" And then since then it's been story dumb. So I think Piccolo is actually on top of things.
Okay.
Okay, let's go for it then.
All right, before we go to bed.
Okay, well, I will tell you that because the Vanna themselves don't actually occupy any particular space for very long, they're how should we put it? Their footprint. What's the word for that? The environmental footprint is fairly minimal. So they don't themselves, because they don't change the land by their very nature. If you want to bond with this land, that's fine. Because of where you are right now and where they're camped, you would get, depending on what you rolled, either a forest or a mountain just to add to your basic lands, but if you want to give it a shot, you certainly can. Who wants to go first? Nobody has tried thus far, so.
I mean, it's a waste to not. So.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
a land is a land. Hello.
I'll go for it.
All right. So that would be Kareem, not the one
Yay.
that's not it. Okay. All right. Kareem, roll a d6 for me, please.
Oh no, I forgot to get dice.
I got you. I was just looking for one. You said a D6?
A d6.
All right. Do you trust me?
Yes.
Okay.
That's your first mistake.
Hang on. This is a glass thing. Let me make sure I don't get it off of the playmat. Huh? Yep. It's a 5.
Okay. All right. It's a 5, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, at that point, all
Damn it. I wasted a good roll on you, jerk.
right. So we're gonna add another forest to Mike. So that actually puts Mike's forest count up to 2,
Yay.
which is handy because he already had 3 mountains. So there you go. Who's going next?
I'll go ahead and go next.
All right.
All right, mine
Where you
is
guys go, I'm gonna go find my dice.
5.
Dang it.
All right. You go up to 5 forests.
Woohoo.
No mountain for you. All right. And then the angel. Now, the angel doesn't have a forest or a mountain already. So
I have 3 plains, an embla, and a tier.
you got it. So go ahead and roll your d6.
It's a 2.
You fail to you fail. You fail to establish a mana connection.
Damn
with
it,
the
Mike.
land.
What?
Jerk.
Oh. You want me to roll for you?
I already rolled.
Oh.
He failed. All right. Anything else before bed?
I don't guess so.
Night, night.
Do 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 do.
Hit points, mana points, restored. Ding.
Do you want to save? Save your game?
Would you like to save your game?
No, I want to re-roll my mana.
Okay, can I abuse save states?
Yeah.
You wake up in the clearing, feeling refreshed. However, as you look around, you realize the Vanna have departed.
How did I know we were going to wake up alone? I was just
Yep.
about to say, and I didn't, and now I should have.
Well, to be fair, you are alive. They did not touch your packs or any of your goods. It does not appear that they had any ill will toward leaving you. And in fact, you do notice under one of your packs that they seem to have left you one of the copies of the map. It is clearly not the original one, but it looks like it will service you well, and it will actually add to your success, as long as you don't fail miserably, Chewie, at navigating through the forests of Trivester.
Great.
Yeah, Angel, don't mess this up for us.
Actually, it's Mike that does the trekking rolls.
I was going to say, wait a minute.
Yeah.
All right, Kareem, don't mess this up for us.
Jerk.
So you find yourselves alone once again. You've been given a couple names and destinations to
Directions.
consider.
All right, so we can
You want to go north, east, or west?
Yeah, we can go north to Nivelier and ask for Ikolnir and don't be fooled by her appearance. We could go to the tower in the east, or we can go to the ruins where we might find somebody and not trust anybody, maybe not even him.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Gender.
Of the 3, it seems like going north to talk to somebody is probably better than going to a tower that we might not get to or be able to get into, or going down to some ruins that
Seem
we were-
awfully sketchy.
Yeah, that we were warned heavily about. But that's just my opinion. I
Well,
have a
they-
sword, so I don't give a damn.
Well, the fortification was the first thing mentioned, so that probably is a better lead. Well,
Yeah, the ruins sound like a high-level area. we need to grind a bit more before we go down there. But I was thinking of just going to the tower and checking it out and seeing what we're dealing with there, even if we can't get in. We could try busting in. Who knows whether that'll work, but...
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, Brian, do we have an idea of where we are on the map?
As far as where you are on the map, because the map is not labeled jars. He gave me a copy of the map that had the names, and I haven't given it to him yet. As far as where you are on the map, when you're looking at it, of course, no one pointed at it or circled it and said, you are here. Given that you're looking around where you are right now, if you're looking at the map, you appear to be basically at the base of a series of crags. If you look at the tree and you see like a small mountain range to the northeast, you're slightly further north and east than that. So basically,
that's what I thought.
Somewhere right in there, as far as you can tell. The map itself doesn't have like a mile, like a legend
A
or anything.
GPS.
Yeah. In 50 feet, turn left.
So it looks like we're roughly midway between the tower and the fortification.
Yes.
I'm assuming the fortification is the thing with the big ass wall in the middle above the tree, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, probably shouldn't tell you that, but yeah. That's what it's meant to be.
Okay. Then, well, should we go to the tower first and check it out?
I think so.
Okay.
All right.
Let's do it.
Because I also have another map here that's a grid map that tells me what you will encounter on various attempts. So you're wanting to head toward the tower. So are you striking out more east or more south or more southeast? I ask because it makes a difference as far as what you might encounter along the way.
Well, I mean, let's just try to go directly there. Let's just trek our way there.
All right, directly there. Am I assuming that Mr. Karim is still leading the way?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Before we go any further, I want to talk for just a second, breaking out a little bit about character advancement. And I meant to do this at the beginning of the episode, but it feels appropriate to do it now since you guys just woke up. So I had originally played around with the idea of levels, and then I thought, I don't know if that really jives with what I'm trying to do. So what I want to do after encounters and after social experiences as well is see what skills you guys are using, which ones you aren't, and of course reward you for doing things well. So given that you just went through that battle, I did want to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of a bonus, unless you don't want one, of course. But
That weak crap.
the angel used her sword pretty darn well. She currently has a heavy weapons 2 skill, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to increase that to a 3.
Oh, snap.
Yep. Looking at Alaric, he of punching and ranged weapons and whatnot, did a little bit of everything during the battle. But nobody has really used any spells yet, so we're not going to really touch those. But he, if I recall, he made a precision shot where he didn't just shoot a goblin in the foot from like a good distance away. He like pinpointed the exact spot between where your foot meets your leg and shot it right in there and almost took the foot clean off. So we're going to change that ranged weapons bonus of 1 to a 2. All right.
Okay.
And then Mike doesn't get anything. Actually, no.
Crotch.
No. Mike did pretty well. And the skill he probably used the most would have involved the Boros scimitar. He didn't quite do as much face punching last time, but he was making some nice clean cuts with that scimitar. So we're going to take that light weapons 2 and make it a light weapons 3. Sound good?
Yes.
All right. So again, I want to kind of reevaluate these skills on a session by session basis. And let me see if there's anything else. No, I think we're gonna keep it there. So all right. So you're heading to the southeast. You are rolling from there to there. So Mike, I need for you to roll a D 6, please.
6. Here's 1. 4.
All right. So that means that I then roll this.
Come on, fluffy bunnies.
You leave the clearing behind. You venture through the woods, and you come to what appears to be a slight clearing. When I say slight, I mean it. You still see trees around, but they are a little more intermittent. And as you enter this particular area, a certain smell hits your nostrils immediately. Something very feral. You smell some blood and some other, shall we say, fluids. As you look around, you realize that you see 2.
Sorry, the first thing that popped in my head was, is it rutting season?
Well, actually, let's see. Who here is probably the better hunter? That I'm gonna say either. Let's go with Alaric here. Given what we've got going on, Alaric, you recognize this for exactly what it is. This appears to be a mating ground for at least two, very, very upset giant warthogs.
That's probably not good.
Sounds hilarious, but one of them has spotted you. It is a little distance away, so you do have some time to react. Because Mike was leading the way, as usual, I'm going to put you in the order of Mike being Karim, then Alaric, followed by the Angel. So, Karim, there's this warthog. It's not running at you yet, but you can tell it is staring at you. It is starting to lower its head, getting ready to charge. What do you want to do? Now, but I guess I should say, as we get into this potential combat situation, I'm not telling you have to fight, but just as a reminder, you can take any kind of action you want, including if you want to go ahead and start pulling mana sources so that you can use them later. That counts as basically half of a turn. You can still take another action, but your power will be cut in half, rounded up for the remainder of this turn. You certainly don't have to do that, and you may explore any option you want. But I want, having not played this for a year, I want to make sure you remember how that works. Otherwise, tell me what you want to do. We'll roll some die and figure out if you do it or not.
Yeah, this seems like an opportunity to back away and try to escape.
Okay.
I don't like just stabbing animals for no reason. Especially if I accidentally cock block them.
Peter would be so proud. All right, so you want to turn tail and head back out the way you came, yes. Right? All right. Okay. Let's see. So this is a giant warthog we're talking about. It's not really that close. It's not charging yet. And you have a trekking of 2, a tracking of 1, and you have a stealth of 2. So, okay. Go ahead and roll a d12 for me and tell me what you get.
D12.
Yeah.
There's a 5.
Okay. So, you don't bolt out there as fast as you can. You maybe stumble a little bit, but basically you turn tail and you start running past the other 2. And it's up to you whether or not you want to yell at them or give them any advice, but you've already made it past. In one turn, you've already made it past the other 2, and you're heading back into the woods. So good job. All right, Alaric, what do you want to do?
Wrong turn, guys. Let's go.
I notice what he's looking at, and I also turn to bolt.
Okay. All right. Okay. For you, at this point, it's starting to run a little bit. It still looks like it's heading toward Karim, but it sees the 3 of you. It's getting a little closer now. I'm gonna need you to go ahead and roll a d10.
D10.
Oh, so it has started charging, or just approaching?
It's approaching at what might consider semi-charging speed. It's getting wound up.
It's
It
thinking
doesn't.
about it.
Yeah, it doesn't go from 0 to 60 in 2.5, but it's got a pretty decent cylinder. So anyway, yeah, Dark,
I rolled a 2.
you rolled a 2.
We still don't know what these rolls mean yet, so don't get too.
Well,
down.
I apply them to what's going on here. So, all right, you rolled a 2 though.
Yeah.
All right, Alaric sees Karim leaving, says, "Uh-oh, I gotta go." Turns around and starts to apparently trip over his own feet.
That was a quick turn.
Yeah, you're not really stunned, so I'm not going to take away your next turn, but you haven't really moved at all.
Okay.
The angel.
So I'm guessing that these are happening sequentially, right? Like, so I see
Yeah.
Karim
You-
run away, and I see Alaric not run away.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
stumble.
you do have a chance
But turn
to
around and
respond.
stumble.
You
Yeah.
do have a chance to respond to his stumbling if you want.
So I'm guessing the pig is now hoofing it towards us.
Yes.
All right. Well then,
And the sight of Alaric presenting his sumptuous backside appears to make it pick up speed a little more than it was before. So
well, I mean, doesn't that happen to all of us? So doing a quick calculation as to how bad this is going to be, I'm going to whip out my sword and move between them.
ooh, okay, all right. So you're taking out your claymore and you're moving between the pig and Alaric. Very noble of you.
I don't
All right.
suppose charm would work on a horny pig, would it?
You are welcome to try. I think you're gonna need a really, really, really high roll.
Am I within range to just attack the damn thing, by the way?
Not quite, but you
Okay.
can set yourself up where you can kind of brace yourself for it before it gets there. So you have in real life terms, you've got a couple seconds, enough time to assess the situation, and you got a chance to kind of get in position. I'm kind of picturing like a batter stepping up to the plate.
Which
Okay.
is exactly what I was envisioning.
Yeah. So turning now basically to the quote unquote turn for the first giant warthog, the one that's closer to you. I'm looking at how close it is. I'm moving it closer to you, and I'm lowering its head. It's lowering its head, so it's getting ready to gore the angel. But in the span of time I'm allotting for each turn, it's not quite there yet. The one that it was romancing, so to speak, was not quite sure of what had happened, but it's now fully aware. You have its attention, but it's not moving toward you just yet.
Just so we're clear, how giant are we talking here?
Well, as I was trying to base this on magic, these are like based on the giant warthogs of magic fame and fortune. So
Bigger than
five.
us.
5'5". Yeah.
Yeah, so bigger than us. Got it. Okay.
yeah. All right, Mike, you have had a chance to run past the others, but I'm assuming you can keep running if you want.
Well, I mean, I definitely look back. So
Yeah, I'm not saying that you're like in the next county or anything like that. You're aware
Yeah.
of what's happened to the others.
right.
So
It's like, oh, what are you doing? I guess I have to turn around and run back now. Turn around
Okay.
and run back and try to get my sword and shield ready while I'm
all right,
heading over there.
I'll let you do that as a free action. Do you want to where do you want to place yourself in relation to the others? Because Dirk didn't really move, so I mean
Yes.
Alaric didn't really move, so you have a chance to position yourself around him wherever you want. I would not get between the angel and the warthog though. That seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, no, that's bad.
She has a
I was-
sword.
I
I do.
was planning on side by side with the angel in front of Alaric.
Okay. All right, not a problem. So you're there.
Okay, question.
Yeah.
When does the when does the mana we pull from regenerate? Is it per encounter or per day?
I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's per encounter. If you've pulled a whole bunch of mana sources after the encounter, I'll just kind of keep track of it, and over the day they'll slowly like fade away.
Mm-hmm.
So that if you have another encounter almost right away, you don't have to start from scratch. Certainly overnight or after a long period of rest, they all go away again. Does that
Okay.
answer your question?
It does, because I was
Okay.
planning on just going ahead and pulling from tier to get the +2 toughness bonus.
Sounds good. You have activated tier, so you've got that available. You have readied your sword and shield. You are now in flanking position.
Yeah, but because I drew mana, my power is 1 for the rest of until my next turn. Is that
Until
what
your
you're saying?
until your next turn, which because you're not attacking this turn,
Doesn't matter.
no
Okay,
big deal.
got it.
All right, Alaric, you fell, but you're not stunned or anything like that. It was just more of a minor mishap. What do you want to do now?
Pick your ass up and do something.
Well, seeing as we're gonna apparently stand and fight, I unsling my bow, and I'm gonna knock an iron arrow.
You're gonna knock an iron arrow. Okay. All right.
Isn't that what those pigs were doing?
Okay. So in one turn, you stand up, you pull out your bow, you get an arrow ready. Your target, assuming you're aiming for the giant warthog, is certainly getting within range. So, all right, Miss Angel, the angel, what you want to do?
Can I hit the damn thing yet?
Yeah, with your claymore and where it is, yeah, you can. You've got your sword out. You are raring to go. You can go and attack this thing.
All right. Well, let's claymore the hell out of that.
All right. So you got a giant claymore. And this thing is basically at point blank range. I want you to go ahead and roll a d20 for me, please.
D20. Yes, sir. Hang on. I gotta make sure this doesn't. Okay. I have this little barrier of things, so when I roll, it doesn't like bounce off onto the glass. Hup! I rolled a 15.
You roll a 15. All right. Roll a d6 for me, please. I'm gonna make a quick roll over here.
D6. Yep. No. Caught it. Okay, try it again. Okay, it's a 3. It hit the damn glass anyway.
Okay. All right. So your weapon connects with the head of the warthog, which is fortunate because it stops it and knocks it to the side. You've cleaved off one of its tusks, but your blade notches in the second before you're able to pull it out again. You've cut deeply into its head, and it seems a bit stunned, but it's not down for the count just yet. During the warthog's turn, it shakes itself off a bit and it had fallen down a bit, starts to get up on its feet again. The second warthog, however, is starting to close in. And if you can picture where you are, the first warthog, because it has been hit by Chewie, is now kind of off to the angel's left. Alaric is over on Chewie's right, the angel's right. Alaric is behind him. Oh my god. Karim is over on the angel's right, and the second warthog is now bearing down on Alaric and Karim directly, but is almost there, has not quite bridged the gap yet. So, Mike, what's it gonna be?
All right, hit the one that's all up in our face that the angel's already dealt a blow to.
Okay, so just to be clear, hit the one that the angel has already hit, not the one that's closing in on you from the other direction.
Well, how close is it?
It's gonna be in attacking range next turn.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna hit the one that the Angel's already hit.
Okay.
Go ahead and take it out.
All right. What are you gonna use? You got your sword out, so I'm assuming you're using
Sword.
that.
Yes.
Sword.
You got a sword too. I got a sword too.
You
I know,
got a
this thing rolls.
Boros scimitar. So go ahead, and this is a giant warhog. So roll a d10 for me.
D10. Okay.
D10.
Just this one. What is that? 5.
5. Okay. Roll a d6 for me.
D6. 3.
You lunge in for the kill, trying to aim at the spot that the claymore has already opened up for you. Unfortunately, the boar tries to gore you at the same time, and while it misses, it deflects your blow, and you do cut a wound in its flank, spilling more blood and wounding it, but not finishing it off. It drops to its knees yet again, and it stares at you with murder in its eyes. Alaric?
I am going to shoot the incoming boar.
Shoot the incoming boar. Probably a wise idea. And you are using an iron arrow.
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a d12 for me, please.
11.
Okay. Is there a particular point? I should have asked this first, but I think you picture a giant warhog running at you. Its face is front and center. Was there a particular point that you are aiming for?
The head.
The head. All right, just the center of the head. Okay.
Shoot him in
All
the
right.
face.
Well, I'm going to try and take him out.
Roll a d6, please.
6. Wow.
All right, and I'm rolling here.
Oh, it's gonna come out through its butt.
No. But it does get stuck somewhere around the heart. It bursts through the skull somehow. You must have put a little something spicy in that one.
Put some English on it.
Because it enters the front of the skull and gets stuck somewhere in its torso. It is dead before it even knows what has happened. It comes to a stop, almost hitting Karim, just due to its momentum. It is, wow. Just, wow. I don't know that you're getting this one back, man.
I'm willing to lose one of the iron arrows in this deal.
Oh my god.
Angel,
Yeah.
what's up?
So the first thing I'm gonna do is go, nice shot. So wait, did Karim not manage to kill the pig that I
He did not.
wounded?
No.
He wounded it, but he did not kill it. It
I
got
swear to
deflected.
God.
Hey, real quick, JD Phoenix says, there's a different organ in the head that makes a bit more sense than its heart. It's correct. He's correct. Keep in mind, its head it has its head like down, like it is charging them. The arrow has managed to pierce the skull, go through the brain, and go ahead and keep going. That is how forceful this is. So I just wanted to go ahead and mention that. This is apparently like mega super. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I wanted to address that. This is not me not knowing my anatomy, although that is frequently going to be the case. It is, and I don't
Oh
mind
my
him
God.
calling me out. This is apparently like the super arrow. So,
Alright.
sorry, Chewie. Back to you.
I should. Okay, let me think. How would I do this? I guess I will yell, "Nice shot!" and then lift my claymore up over my head with both hands and come down on like the back of the neck.
Oh wow. Okay, so
Like
you're
a
doing this,
decapitation.
you're doing this double-handed.
Yeah.
It is right in front of you. It's literally down on its knees,
Yeah.
and you're going from on top. All right,
Just like he was just a minute ago.
Junior. All right.
We were all
Roll.
thinking it.
Wow, is that gonna be okay? All right, so roll that d20 there, sir.
D20 there, sir. Yes. I got a 13.
You got 13. Okay. looking at the damage. All right, just roll a d6. I think that this is probably a forlorn
I got a
conclusion.
2.
Well, let me roll this real quick.
This thing having disadvantage, it's probably all right.
Okay. I rolled a perfect defense for it, so I'm gonna say, you bring it over your head, you bring it down, and somehow in the middle of what already appears to be its death throes, it manages to like twist out of the way, and your sword sinks into the ground right next to it. It continues to stare at you with murder in its eyes, and then bleeds out. So,
guys, can we just pretend that I managed to finish it off there?
good enough. You can play the Final Fantasy victory music now.
Da, 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 da.
I just like to point out that this started with 2 of you trying to run away. Anything you want to do here with these here corpses?
Let's see if we can get any useful items off of them, such as meat or
Arrows.
leather, anything of that sort that potentially either could be sold or used by us.
Okay. So you conduct an investigation into the
You can
corpses
tell-
of these fine animals.
You can tell Dirk is the MMO player.
Fortunately, they do not have any jeweled rings on them. you know.
Oh man, no gold pieces in
No
their
gold-
in their tummies.
No gold pieces.
And these warthogs are useless.
Dirk, sorry, not Dirk. Karim. No, not Karim.
You.
Billy
Alaric.
Bob.
You do attempt to you do have a little bit of skill with this, so you do manage to butcher up these animals a little bit. You find what remains of your first iron arrow. At this point, though, it's been
There's no
battered and
recovery.
broken, and it is. I'm gonna say you are down to 4 of those bad boys.
Yep.
So you made them last quite a bit, though. But you managed to get, let's say, some tenderloins and some flank steaks and a little bit of fillet out of these guys. I mean, these are giant warthogs. So
We
You
just
know.
dropped a giant warthog.
I think the chat demands bacon, says JD Phoenix. And my friends, don't you have to like prepare bacon? Doesn't it have to be like, seasoned
or something.
You have to
Yeah.
cook it all the way in order to make
So-
sure it's safe to eat.
That's true. I
Yeah.
was just about to say.
But Kareem does have a skill in cooking. So
Yes,
you
I have
know.
cooking 1.
So you do have cooking 1. So and you are naturally, I mean, you're a soldier. You've dealt with animals in the wild, so you know what? You get a pound of bacon. Sure, why not?
Sick.
So, nice.
Yay.
You clean up your mess. You look around. There were no other animals around. It turns out these giant warthogs were incredibly territorial, and you find what appear to be a couple small animal skeletons scattered here and there for anything that was unwise enough to come into their territory. Very nicely done, guys. I'd say at this point, it was a bit of a protracted battle for a minute there. It's probably about noon or so. You probably had a decent amount of your fill of meat and stuff at this point. And you managed to actually not have to backtrack at all, despite your best intentions. So at this point, again, you look around, you're still in this, again, it's not a clearing, but a couple trees here and there. It's not densely populated or forested or anything like that. It's not populated at all now. Good job. So what do you want to do next?
Go ahead and continue on.
Yeah, continue on our
Yeah.
way.
Okay. You consult the map, and it looks like you are fairly due west from the tower, so you just want to head straight west at this point?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
You mean
All right.
east?
I mean east. I do mean east.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
are west. So
I just assumed that what he said was supposed to make sense. And just,
Okay, there's your problem.
all
So
right.
this is a thing that I don't know if people know about me, but in my brain, and this is the reason that I called Brian on this, is because in my brain, for some reason, I never just learned east and west. ever. Like, I know this is my left hand, but if I want to say go left, but in directions, I have to say go, and my brain goes to Legend of Zelda, the original, and to the Lost Woods and goes northwest, so this must be west. Okay. And so I just never learned that for some reason, and it won't stick. At this point, I'm 37, and it's not sticking. So when Bron says, so you're due west of it, you want to go west? My brain goes, which way is that again? Does that make sense? Hang on. Anyway,
All right, so you want to head east
sure.
Yes. We
Toward
want
All
the
right.
tower.
toward the tower. All right, Mike, roll that d6. Roll it hard,
Roll that beautiful D6 action.
like it's a giant.
Hot.
warthog.
I rolled a 1.
Well,
roll a 1.
we're gonna end up back where we started.
Well, because you had the map. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of bonus, but let's see here. Really? Let me consult my little thing.
This is why we don't have face cams, by the way, listeners.
Okay. So you continue on through the forest a little ways. However, it does appear that you're starting to lose a little bit of your sense of direction again. You come into another heavily wooded area. How do I put this?
Oh God.
You're walking.
lost.
Well, a little bit, maybe. At this point, the trees seem to be fairly densely packed. One of you, let's say, Alaric, brushes up against a particularly large, what appears to be a tree, and you are startled when it starts to roar at you. The three of you turn around, and the angel, for reasons that are unbeknownst to her, identifies this beast directly. Well, it's not a beast. She, without knowing why, she knows that this is, in fact, a primeval force.
Oh. That's probably not good.
It's currently roaring at you. It hasn't moved to attack you yet, but it's probably about 3 feet from all of you. I'm going to say because the angel recognized it first, the angel gets first action.
Great. Hey guys, don't question, but this is a primeval force. It's a big ass elemental thing. Okay? Just so you guys know. I'm willing to guess that it's about to take a swing at me. So what? So okay, let me step out of character real quick. I don't like if this was a video game RPG. If you run into a thing, you kill it.
Yeah,
Like that's just how it works. But like Mike and Dirk's first reaction to warthogs having sex was, okay, ignore that part. To an encounter of enemies was, let's see if we can leave them alone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious, like, what do we do when a big ass elemental tree thing just roars at us? Do we?
Roar back.
Yeah, right. Like, do I roar back? Do I fly away? Do I take out a sword and start lopping at it? Like, I don't know what the protocol here is.
Are you asking me as the game person, or
No,
are you
I'm asking
discussing
my fellow players.
Okay,
here.
I just want. Well, you said you were stepping out of character, so I wanted to make sure
Yeah.
that I understood what the question was.
Yeah, when I'm playing a pencil and paper RPG or something that isn't just your standard, go out, kill stuff, take their money, and keep pressing the button until you get to level 50 and then fight the end boss. If I'm not playing something like that, then I try to do things that make sense. If I'm playing something where I'm given an actual choice, meaningful choice about what to do, I try to do something that feels more natural. Like that's why I usually leave animals alone unless they just get all up in my face and try to bite it off. And that's why I try to figure out what the heck I'm looking at before I start swinging a sword. So in this case, like if I was to go first, I would probably, run and duck behind a nearby tree and then poke my head around and watch what it did next.
Figure out what its intentions are.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's the way I prefer to play games like this. But if I was playing a standard JRPG, I would, start summoning my Aeons and whatnot without a second thought. But
Gotcha. So about how
Right.
much time do we have between like our turns here in these combat situations there, Brian?
I'm gonna say I usually try and keep it fairly fluid, like whatever the situation demands. And with the giant warthogs, it was pretty clear because Karim, because Karim was the first one to come in, first one to see him, he had a chance to react before anyone else did. Because this is you simply realizing what it is before the others. All three of you, while you're going to make your decision first, all three of you are going to act relatively simultaneously. So if you want to make a quick plan, you can. But this thing is roaring at you, so you're not going to have you're not going to be able to sit down and like draw up a map and call Karn on the phone and say, Karn, what would you do? You're not going to use a life link or anything, but life link. You know what I mean? I'm going off to answer your question. You can decide to perform them as simultaneously as you want. I'm going to start with you in terms of you're the first one to realize it, but if you want to take a second to draw up a plan, you can. But I'm not going to give you forever to do so either.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so real quick, what should we do? You guys.
what is? I mean, I know you just told me what this is, but what is it? Are they dangerous? Are they intelligent?
That I don't know.
Which one of the skills allows you to sort of to look and sort of figure? Is it empathy is the one that allows you to figure out what their intentions are or what they want to do?
I have a thing called spiritual awareness.
Empathy is going to be more toward social interactions, especially with other
humanoids?
other humanoids.
Okay.
Not to get racist, but other sentient beings that you can generally communicate with. Spiritual awareness, Chewie's ability that he used to kind of tap into the mana of the tree and see what was going on there, is more of an understanding, some basic understanding or supernatural understanding of how the world works, kind of almost seeing the ley lines and things like that, and understanding, what are the more spiritual connections than necessarily the emotional ones.
Okay. So none of us have anything that really is going to help us figure out what the intentions are.
Yeah,
well,
I'm pretty sure that if a big ass tree thing roars at you, it's probably gonna take a swing at you. Like, I'm just guessing here, especially since the GM said it was like right there. It's like, would you say 3 feet away?
Yeah. And you're all fairly grouped together because this part of the forest is, as I said, dense. There's not a whole lot of there's not a lot of space between trees, so you've been sticking together pretty closely.
Gotcha. Well, given that I don't know terribly much about what's going on, but I'm going to stay true to my character, I'm going to roar back and pull out a sword and swing at
it. You're gonna roar back at the thing called a Primeval Force and draw your claymore and swing back at it. Okay? Do the other two want to? Do you just want to go ahead and do that, or do the other two want to form some sort of plan, or do you want to see how this plays out first?
Well, it seems like he's already made his decision. So
gotta play the role, man.
Yeah, if I see him, roar back and act like he's gonna swing, so again, I'm gonna draw out my bow and pull back an arrow and get ready to shoot.
Okay.
I guess I'll try to move around to the other side of the thing.
Okay. All right. So Kareem is moving around, kind of starting to flank it a little bit as the angel is swinging with the claymore, and Alaric is going ahead and preparing an arrow. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Chewy, this thing is super close to you. You have a super long sword, so this is probably not going to be terribly hard to hit. Let's see if you miss. Go ahead
Such
and
faith in your abilities.
go ahead and roll your d20 there.
Do not doubt my ability to miss things. Okay, hang on, I was playing with my dice. They're all stacked up. Okay, D20 says... Oh, for God's sake, it's a 4. It's cool,
Wow.
I have heavy weapons 3, so...
You do have heavy weapons 3. All right.
Angel cast Primal Bellow. Ah! Nice.
Go ahead and for this, and you have the 3. Go ahead and roll your d6, please.
D6 says 4. Hey, they match. I get a bonus for that, right?
Okay. All right, let me think about this for a sec. So the thing is super close to you. You go ahead and swing your sword. All right, I'm going to say that you did go ahead and hit it, and you knock it back just a bit, but just enough to really make it more upset, and it's still getting ready to swing at you. Mike is successfully moved around it, and sorry, Kareem has moved around it. Alaric has got his arrow ready, and the Primeval Force is now going to go ahead and take a swing at the angel for, being in its way primarily.
Ow.
Are we gonna wish we had saved our game earlier?
The angel's not. I mean, the angel has basic clothing on, but the angel is not carrying any kind of armor, is it? So, okay. All right. Should we go ahead and roll a d6 for me real quick?
D6 is a 6. Snap.
Oh, wow.
I almost said it's
Okay.
a 9, but that's the wrong
All right.
guy for that.
So, incredibly, you take it smacks you directly in the chest. It misses your head, and you're smacked back, but you actually managed to avoid hitting a tree for a second or two because it somehow managed to knock you back into a spot in the forest where there were not trees for about 5 feet. So you're swung back, you're knocked back. You're stunned for a minute, and I'm gonna ding your toughness, but because of your incredible save, I'm only dinging it 1, which is amazing. So you're still alive, you're still in this. You could have taken much more damage, but you're definitely gonna be sitting out a turn because you just literally got hit by a truck.
So it definitely knocked the wind out of me.
Yeah. So, all right, I've got Alaric in front of it, looking basically up into it with his arrow knocked, and I've got Kareem behind it, ready to go. Who's doing what?
I have an iron arrow, by the way, that's in the bow.
Yeah.
And I'm going to attempt to place an arrow into the Primeval Force's up through its mouth.
Oh,
Up
God.
through its mouth.
Well, I mean, if its mouth's open and I'm really that close, I'm gonna try and see if I can poke it through the top of the. See if
It's
this
still-
arrow will
I mean-
go through the top of this Primeval Force.
It's been roaring this whole time. It really hasn't stopped. So,
If
okay.
I'm that close, I'm gonna shoot.
All right. And you are in fact very, very close. So, I'm gonna have you roll a d20 for this as well.
Stage. No. 20. All right. And I get 10.
Okay. All right. Roll a d6, please.
6. 4.
Okay. All right. So you shoot the arrow up, and it does in fact get lodged in the front of its mouth, although not as far back as you had been hoping for. this causes it to get more mad, and it's now looking down at you. Kareem, what do you want to do?
Okay. I have a question. Someone made a comment in chat a long time ago. I think it was Piccolo. I can't remember. Does for the special lands where you get a bonus when you draw mana from them, is the bonus a once a day thing, or is the bonus also an every encounter thing? If you want it to be.
Since you've pulled for tier, and because you went right from the Warthogs into this, I'm gonna still give you a bonus. Your toughness is still +2.
Oh, I still have the bonus. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Oh,
Because not to
that
mention
answers my question.
you haven't tapped tier to do anything. So, and again, you went right from that into this. So yeah. So yes, you
So
still
does
have
that mean the
bonus.
mana available from tier is still up?
I'm gonna say yes.
So it's still floating? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's convenient.
Yep.
Hmm.
Broken.
I am going. Well, that's. Huh. Okay, now I do want to try this.
Okay.
So I am going to. I have to choose whether to draw mana before I attack. Otherwise, you could get around the power penalty. So I'm guessing that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. By the
Um,
time you attack, the attack will take up the rest of your action, so you wouldn't be able to. Yeah.
okay. So I'm also going to draw from mountain, and I'm going to take a swing at the Primeval Force
Okay.
with the sword.
With the sword.
Yes.
All right. You're still right up on this thing. You've got a pretty clear shot, and you now have your light weapons 3. So go ahead and roll a d20.
Okay. D20. That is an 18.
An
Jesus.
18.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Roll a d6, please.
Roll a D6. Ah, fell on the floor. Roll a D6.
Disqualification.
2.
2. Okay. All right. So you managed to chop at it. You're behind it. So you chop at its basically. If you think about how a primeval force looks, it's a giant bundle of wood. That's why you mistook it for a tree. You chop at the bottom of it, what appears to be the root system or the legs, and you do manage to gouge it enough that you've dealt it some damage and knocked it off balance. So you may have just saved Alaric's life. We'll see. It's still going to go ahead and take a swing at Alaric, but it's getting a penalty now for being knocked off balance. So Alaric coming at you. Dirk, Alaric, you have
Fred.
a light buckler, so you do have a shield.
Howard.
So roll a d10 for me, please.
Well, does he have the buckler up? I thought he was holding his bow and arrow.
He does. He was holding his bow and arrow, and he just shot an arrow into its face.
I'm
So
not trying to get you killed, Dirk. I'm just trying to keep things
Yeah,
consistent.
sure, he's not.
Be consistent.
Yeah, no. Go ahead and roll a d6 for me, please.
5.
Sick.
Okay. All right. So it reaches down. It reaches its fist up, brings it down on you, and basically makes a small crater with you. Luckily, you do manage to dodge slightly, but you're gonna go ahead and take 3 damage from this. So that's gonna wipe out your toughness. So, you're not in fatal injury, but you, again, much like the angel, you kind of got the wind knocked out of you.
Oh,
So
this is the first time it's come up. We should probably explain to the listeners and viewers how the toughness and hit points thing works.
yeah. So as you know in Magic, each creature only has a power and a toughness. And for this, I wanted to give it a little more depth. Because this all got started because of Magic, I wanted to keep some of those values. But because while it's possible for these guys to die, hint, hint, and I want that to be a real possibility, I didn't want their first fight with a giant to mean, they automatically all lose, because something like an 8/8 or even a couple 5/5s are going to make a meal out of 2 2s, 2 3s, 3/2s, things like that. So each character also has a hit point value, and your toughness is essentially almost like an armor class that gets worn down first, and then once that's worn down, you start taking hit point damage, and that damage is much more difficult to remove and can possibly be fatal if it's depleted for too long, or certainly if your hit points reach 0. If your toughness only gets a knock or two, that you will overcome those minor injuries in your own time, definitely before the end of the day. Good old RPG mechanics, right? Sleeping at night solves all your worries. So and
I have this broken arm. Take a nap.
And until now, I mean, the worst these guys got beaten up was by the goblins, and I think one person lost like a toughness, which has since come back. But so right now, the angel has taken a ding to her toughness, and Alaric has just taken 3 points of damage. As a reminder, the angel has 4 hit points, Alaric has 3, and Karim has 3 hit points. So the Primeval Force has taken its turn. It has sustained the following injuries. It's taken the cut from the claymore. It has taken an arrow to the face, and it has taken a surprisingly deep cut from Karim's scimitar.
Of course, Mike is the one who gets a deep cut because of all of his collection of records. Anyway.
Right. So
I'm sorry.
Alaric is somewhat stunned. He's not dead, but he's again gotten the wind knocked out of him, so he's gonna have to sit this one out.
So it should be my turn again, right? Because I missed my last turn.
You got knocked back, so aren't you supposed to be out for a turn?
He was.
Yeah,
he was.
You guys attacked while I was over there getting my bell rung and not in the happy fun way.
But what I'm actually going to do here is, because you got knocked back about 5 feet into a tree while you still get a turn, I'm going to go ahead and let Karim go first because he's closer. So, Karim, what you want to do?
All right, I got one white up, I got one red up, so I'm going to cast Burn.
You got to cast Burn at the Primeval Force.
Sick.
Yes.
All right.
These spells are actually worth casting. Let's find
All
out.
right. So at its base, Burn is going to deal 2 damage to a creature or planeswalker. I'm assuming you're targeting the elemental and not one of your friends.
Correct.
So
misclick.
Put me out of my misery.
And I'm going to have to give you a little extra bonus for the fact that you are targeting what is essentially a wood elemental with fire. So we're going to tack on some extra here. So go ahead and roll a d6 for me, please.
4.
4. 4?
4.
Oh, dear Lord. Okay. All right.
Wait, what did you just roll to get a 4?
A d6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking, that's a 20. I'm going to come across here. You're the reason we're fighting this damn thing.
I'm pretty sure the angel is the reason you're all fighting this thing. But no, you cast Burn at the tree. It ignites in the spot where you have caused the deep cut, so it starts burning essentially from the inside out. It starts to turn toward you, but before you know it, it's all aflame. And actually, due to where you are, there's a significant chance that the flames are going to start spreading to the surrounding trees. So at this point, I'm going to say that Alaric has recovered from, while he hasn't recovered his toughness, he's recovered his awareness and his sense of what's going on. So this thing is not attacking you anymore. It's the animus that has kept the elemental sentient has departed, and it's now just a giant flaming tree. What do you guys want to do?
Wait, so we won?
You won,
Yeah.
and it's a giant flaming tree.
I guess at this point we need to get the hell away.
Yeah.
All right.
That would be my guess.
Yeah, because
What, you're not gonna loot this thing?
Yeah, let me just go
Loot
digging
what?
around in the flaming tree.
All right. Given the fact that you're a bit panicked, not to say that you don't all have relatively clear heads, but there's a giant flaming tree that was just attacking you. Quickly decide which direction you're going to head in.
Continue towards the tower.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I
All
hope
right.
we don't burn down the whole thing.
All right, Mike, roll a d6 for me real quick.
Oh, for
Okay.
God's sake, Mike. I mean, the Kareem, Steve.
You come upon a clearing with a giant burning tree.
The angel hit you in the back of the head.
Oh my god! I rolled a 1.
Oh, for God's sake.
You roll a 1?
Yes, I rolled a 1 on the d6. Yes.
All right. You start to run into the forest blindly, trying to get away from the tree, and as you may have guessed, you suddenly find yourself in front of a giant flaming tree.
Oh, I hate this place.
The good news.
I would like to hit Kareem in the back of the head.
The good news, if I can compose myself, the good news is the fire seems to be dying down almost unnaturally quickly, and before you know it, the Primeval Force itself and the wood that it was inhabiting is quickly becoming ash. You do notice that the fire has obviously spread to other trees, and yet somehow, as that fire dies out unnaturally quickly as well, it seems to leave no singeing upon the trees.
Huh. Well, how about that?
That's good. Yeah. Now I don't have to feel guilty anymore.
No, you didn't burn down the plane. Good job.
You still got us lost.
But between the fact that you fought the Warthogs, got out of there about noon, fought this giant elemental, and got lost in the woods again for a little ways, and ended up where you started, I'm gonna say that it's about it's the sun's going down. Sun's getting really low, big guy.
All right.
So
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and try to commune with the earth.
Yeah.
Try and get
Make
my
a
mana.
bond. Yeah.
Yeah, make a bond. There we go.
you want to try and make a bond with this place?
Yeah. It's green. It's my mana.
It is green, but you
Oh my
know
God.
what you have done here, you know, has partially affected the mana that flows into this place. So, all right. So
Thanks,
Dirk
Thanks,
wants
Kareem.
We're gonna get colorless man out of the waste. Great.
so Dirk, why don't you've already got a forest, so 5 forests. So do me a favor and roll a d6.
D6.
While he does that, Italian Iceman's just pointed out, wait, we could have baked the warthogs on the flaming wood elemental. We missed one kick-ass barbecue here.
All right, I got a 4.
You got a 4? Okay. I'm going to, for flavor reasons, and yes, I'm aware that this was not written down anywhere in the rules, but one of the main things I've learned, I've been watching so many videos about how to be a good DM and GM and all that, is to roll with events when they happen to your players. I'm going to give Dirk a Grove of the Burn Willows because it just feels awesome.
Oh,
So,
snap!
Congratulations. No, nobody's going to be gaining any life, but it just feels so appropriate. So, anybody else want to attempt?
Yeah, I figure we're doing this because we're about to hunker down somewhere nearby. So, yeah, it's probably a good idea. So I'll go ahead and do it too.
All right, now okay, so we'll do the angel next. Now, she doesn't have any green or red mana, so it's going to be a little trickier for her. So roll a d6 and try not to fail.
A D6. Oh, okay.
Like I did.
Like you. Wait, did Dirk fail? No, you got a grove
Well,
of the
then
burn willows.
whenever we were gonna flee, and then I
He
tripped
got-
over myself.
Oh, that kind of fail, yeah. All right, I have rolled a 5. It bounced off my Snow White glass. Does that count?
I'll say that's good enough. So, okay.
Gee, thanks.
So you've got a grove as well. Alaric, you already did it. Kareem. Now the question is, am I still doing it on purpose? No.
Was he ever doing it on purpose?
Probably not.
Ooh,
Kareem,
6.
do you? Oh, well.
Yes.
Oh, I was going to tell you didn't even need to because you've already got a mountain and a forest. So
Oh, okay.
good job. But and then you rolled a critical. So awesome. Way to show these guys up. This is why you're the green and red man. Okay, great. Each of you now has a grove of the burn willows because one day you two will tell your children of the time you set a
Set
tree
fire
on
to the
fire
woods.
and then got lost and came back to it. Oh,
So
good
is
memories.
the Grove of the Burn Willows
Red
is
and
1
green.
green mana,
Red or green, your choice.
red or green. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and the force of nature itself is just a pile of ash at this point. So, all right, why don't we go ahead and stop here? Given the time in the real world as well as the time in game.
Yep.
Covered a lot of ground this time, literally and figuratively, and I appreciate that we had a whole lot of exposition and a whole lot of action, more encounters in
Yeah.
one episode. So
I really expected that since Mike burned places to ash, we would get colorless mana because it's now wastes.
well,
But I like
as
yours better.
Well, but as I said, you know, as it appears that the trees surrounding it are strangely undamaged. What could it mean?
I like it.
Right.
Yeah, look at Mike setting stuff on fire.
When he's not
Sick.
punching their faces out, he's burning them to death. All right. So
Now, Brian,
yeah.
be real. It was
Yeah.
gonna attack us anyway, wasn't it? Can't be blaming this on me.
I had rolled a couple things to see where you ended up and then what the disposition was of the things that were there. And it happened that you ended up in that area with that force of nature, and it just happened to be really pissed off when one of you turned out to be Dirk, you know,
Bumps up against it.
bumped up against it, took for granted that it was a tree. It wasn't
Okay.
a tree.
So I'm still gonna blame Karim for that, for getting us lost, putting us right there in the first place.
And yet I like how he stopped the game to say, you know, what should be my reaction to this when faced with this giant? And Mike's like, you know, I might, you know, not engage. And he's like, you know,
No
attack.
guts, no glory.
Gotta be true to my character, man.
Yeah.
What would the angel do? She'd whip out a sword and hit it.
Obviously. But be aware, I am prepared, not looking forward to, but prepared to kill you off. And it came a little closer than I thought it might this time. But maybe
Being a good
next
GM.
time. Maybe next time.
Maybe wait. Yay! I can't wait for one of us to die. Wait, no. All right, so we're gonna stop there. And so, Brian, I'm assuming that we can do this sometime before another year goes by.
Yeah, absolutely. I've
Nice.
got more material ready to go. So yeah, I think we still, I don't know that we necessarily want to do it next week.
No.
But but you know, in a couple weeks, maybe a month or two, yeah, absolutely. I think it'd be better that way because then we don't have to spend the first half like, here's the whole
Explaining
story.
everything.
Yeah.
All right then. So, how about some final thoughts then?
For me, it's been good getting back into doing the RPG thing. um, and trying to go back over my character. And as sad as this sounds, um, the last time we played, I was at the other house, and so I actually had to go dig for my stuff.
Well, there you go.
So I'm going, oh crap, which drawer did I put this in? I hope I didn't lose it. This would be terrible. So yes, I was able to. Apparently, I did stick it in a drawer that I thought I'd better put this here so I don't lose this. And lo and behold, I dug through the drawer and was like, oh, thank goodness this was not lost. So yes, I do have all my information, my gear, and all that.
Sweet.
Nice.
But again, it has been awesomely fun. Although apparently right now I'm just going, oh, let's just be. Can we not do anything rash next time?
But that's all the fun.
Look, if you hadn't bumped into the thing and woken it up, and if he hadn't gotten his laws, I wouldn't have had to hit it with my sword.
Mm-hmm.
So
I do think I found what the angel's personality quirk is, and that is, if it looks like it could be hit with a sword, it must be hit with a sword.
yay, swords.
Mm.
All right, next.
I guess that'd be me. I hope you guys have been enjoying this as much as I have, and I hope these guys have. It's always interesting to me when we do this because I feel like it's kind of my baby, and I based it a little bit on other RPGs. But keep in mind, I've never actually played a game of Dungeons and Dragons or anything like that, so I'm using a little bit of what I've heard, but I also just want to try and make a fun playing experience. So if anything is wrong with the system, it's entirely my fault. It's not because I'm necessarily interpreting something the wrong way, except for just my own thoughts. It's not because there's any issue with D&D or anything like that. And I apologize if things don't always feel super consistent, but part of that, I want to appreciate. I want to mention that I appreciate Chewy, and I think it was mostly Chewy when I got this started, saying, hey, check out some of these resources. I think he was the first one that turned me on to Pro Jared, who now I watch all sorts of videos for like, what.
Oh yeah, because he had just done his D&D December, his first D&D December series.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, maybe watch a couple of these, because he talks a lot about how to, like you said, how to roll with things and be a good DM and stuff like that.
And I think it's a bit of tension for me because I'm literally trying to create a game from nothing here. Well, using magic as an inspiration, but the system and all that, trying to basically come up with it myself. So I feel like I make these rules, I need to stick to these rules. But one of the things I've heard from that and from some other videos and things I've watched a couple of videos lately by is it Matthew Mercer, yes, thank you, from Geek and Sundry, is that right? Where he did a couple DM and GM tips and tricks and things. One message I've heard a lot is, if the players are enjoying it and if it doesn't break the game, then go with it. So also one of the early things was, when to get the campaign started, I basically gave these guys a short speech of how they came to Trivester and all that. And one of the comments I heard a lot was, it felt very cutscene. And I was like, well, yeah, because I need to put them there. And I still kind of stand by, because that I was not creating this game to basically just say, hey guys, go anywhere you want, because with all the places in the multiverse, I was not prepared for a potential story for any plane they went to.
Mm-hmm.
Because no, maybe in the future sometime, but no.
And also, you're most accustomed to video game based RPGs.
Yes,
that's how you set up the story in a video game.
Correct. And I definitely have a lot more experience with that. But again, once you're there, one of the lessons I have heard a lot is, don't take choices away from the players, and I'm trying very hard to make sure that that is part of this. So any other feedback from anybody, just let me know. Shoot us an email, put us a comment. Wow. Put us a comment, yo, in the comments, which is where you would do that. Oh wow, I'm losing
Do
my
up one
stuff,
of them
man.
there comment thingies.
Yeah. Let me know basically about what you like and what you don't like. And I have learned a little bit, not so many cutscenes. And like the first day, as Chewie said, I was like, all right, it's been X hours since you ate. You're starting to feel slightly hungry. You feel peckish. You think a bit of cheese would go over really well. I was taking it a bit too much. And I don't want to get so caught up in the minutia that I lose the story. So, all right.
Yeah.
That's what I got. Hope you guys are enjoying it, basically.
Word. Mike?
All right. It was very good to get back to this. Took a few minutes to get back in the mindset. When we were first talking to the Nakatl people. When I was doing my thing, I felt like I had a little bit of, hello, I am Galstaff, Sorcerer of Light, I was able to get into the groove a little bit better.
Well, if I can, I don't want to break too much into your final thought, but first of all, I kind of set that up so that these were not people that were just going to be like, hi, how are you? These are people that are not accustomed to dealing with outsiders. And literally the angel and Alaric were just kind of staring the whole time. So you were the only one saying anything. So you're going to get a little bit of that hello feeling. I know what you mean.
I was looking at the kitty people.
But yes, so, and as part of my final thought, I wanted to share something, little funny thing I saw the other day that I thought you guys would appreciate. So it was just like someone on Facebook posted like a photo album of like screen caps of funny tweets or whatever. And there was one that really got me laughing. It said, Sir Mix-a-Lot likes big butts and cannot lie. His twin brother hates big butts and cannot tell the truth. You can only ask them one question.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I figured you'd appreciate that.
Is that what is that? Is that Labyrinth? Where was it from before that?
Oh, it's a pretty classic riddle.
Was it some Alice? Was that in one of the?
It was in it. That riddle situation did show up in Labyrinth.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
I'm sure
it
it
seems
showed
like
up in a lot of other places.
like my brain is telling me that it was in one of the Alice stories, but I don't think that's right. Because Alice was, I don't think Alice would have come up with the answer. No offense to her, but she's kind of, she's kind of 7 or however old she's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I started laughing even more because I realized that if you ask them whether they liked big butts, both of them would say yes, and you still wouldn't know who's who.
Like, the answer to that is to ask one of them if the other one likes big butts? Is that how that works?
Yeah. Yeah, basically you ask one of them to answer a question about what the other one would say. And that'll tell you.
And then you get into a circular logic loop, and then the system crashes.
No, like if you ask, yeah. No, like if you ask it, would the other guard tell me that you're the liar? Then if you ask the one that tells the truth, he would say the answer would be yes. That the lying guard would tell you that he's the liar. But if you ask the one that always lies, then he would answer no, that's a lie, because he knows that the truth-telling guard would say that he's the liar. So yeah, you ask them a question about what the other one would say.
So we get back to the butts.
Yes, absolutely.
Stay on target.
Oh yeah, right. Sorry. All right then. Well, I guess is that it for you, Mr. Sir?
Yes, it is.
All right, I guess that just leaves me then. So I would like to remind everybody that, again, we're live on Twitch on Thursday nights around 8 or so-ish Eastern time, depending on how late someone is, because on Monday Night Magic, it's always Clues that's late. On this show, it's always somebody. Somebody's always late for some reason. So I can't give you a hard start time, but just like I can't for Monday Night Magic. But don't worry, it'll be sometime around there. And I think next week, that we're going to... I wish I could remember whose idea this was. No. Do we remember whose idea this was?
Not Ty.
Here we go. It was from Drew. Drew S. Who threw this email at us, and it's such a good idea that we're just going to do it. He says, can we get Professor Beard teaches Exile? Because we already did Graveyards. So now we're going to look at how the Exile Zone, or Removed from Game, how it started and where it is now. Should be pretty neat. Right?
Right.
And Mike is like, I'm not looking forward to that because I have to speak a lot, but it sucks to be you, Mike. So
Well, and no, I'm looking forward to it, but it will be some work because I have to speak and do research.
fair enough. So all that is left is to tell you all the other things, like, hey, we're on Twitter at themanapool. We're on that other place, Facebook. There we go. Facebook.com/themanapool. Here on Twitch, I stream things other than the Manapool. I stream Monday Night Magic here too, but also other video games. Like earlier this week, we streamed some Lucio Ball in Overwatch, and Lucio Ball seemed kind of broken, so I think we might be done streaming Lucio Ball. And stuff like XCOM, Enemy Within. Oh yeah, I did a 5.5 hour stream of XCOM Enemy Within because I love it. And we had the chat in on it as some of our characters, our soldiers, our squad, whatever the proper word is, I don't know. And other things. Hearthstone, for instance. I got to do another Hearthstone stream, so I can fail at the Boomsday Project live instead of just on my phone in my bed all the time going, damn it! So, and then over on youtube.com/themanapool, you get the video versions of the podcast once we're done streaming them. And you get stuff. Right now, what's going up is some Slay the Spire. I did a daily climb with the Silent a while back. That is... Daily climbs are sort of like tavern brawls, essentially, for Slay the Spire. That's 3 videos. The second one will go up very soon. Probably tomorrow, actually. I started the Stanley Parable. I streamed it a while back and recorded it all for YouTube. And I finally managed to record the demo. I highly recommend you watch the Stanley Parable number 0 video, which is the demo. It's me playing the demo. I did not stream this, so no one's seen it, unless you watch the video. But it's very meta, as the Stanley Parable itself is, and it's a good indicator for whether or not you'd enjoy the series. I also did some, since I recorded it not on stream, I was able to do some editing gags and whatnot that really made me happy. So, sweet. And also, I took the entire first hour or so of the XCOM stream and squished it down into like just the best parts, like the funniest bits and the little bit of exposition we got, that sort of thing. So that is all compressed down into it's like 15 minutes of shooting aliens. Yay, aliens! I mean, no, boo, aliens. You shoot them in the face like you were Dirk, and it was a Primeval Force. or a boar. Dirk has a thing for shooting people in the face. Dirk, are you a Hanzo main? Because apparently that's not an insult anymore. So.
No, actually, Bastion, the gun,
the turret.
The turret is the one I usually roll.
Dear God.
Because my favorite is finding a little nook, and then going into siege mode, and then when someone comes towards our base, just letting them have it.
I didn't even know you ever played Overwatch, Dirk. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, I played it for a while.
Huh? How about that? So yeah, that's all the stuff that's going on right now. There will be more streaming. There will be more going up on YouTube as always. But right at this moment, it's XCOM and the Stanley Parable are the two big ones that are going up there. All right. So with that, I must say that if you want to help support what I do with all of this insane amount of 2 podcasts a week and all the YouTube videos and all the Twitch streams, then the most direct way to do that is through Patreon at patreon.com/themanapool, where you can get Manapool episodes and YouTube videos early. You can get the early stuff and the odds and ends, all the stuff recorded before and after both shows. That is uncensored and unfiltered, and it's usually us being silly. Or sometimes extremely serious. Usually silly. And if you're feeling extra generous, you can become a lifeguard, which gets you the early stuff, the odds and ends, and the shout out on both shows and on all the YouTube videos. So I'd like to thank Kim Ho, Andrew Hunt, Ow, Paul David, Lance Delicious, Team U, Hellas Are You, Connor Kennedy, John Morris, Stuart Slaw, PJ McMullen, Bosco Brittain, Casey, Nathan Hay, Danny Liao, Jason Doan, Cody Buckowing, Jake Jansons, Jason Kaus, Brian DeLucci, Stark Maximum, John Parker, Jimmy Scott, Dan Holm, Bartle, Mike Millerbird, and the Beast Father, Aaron Goodwine. Whew. Thank you all so very much for your insane generosity. I literally could not do it without you. And a big thanks, of course, to all of you that are watching live on Twitch and offering up some advice and jokes and all of that. We appreciate it. And with that, we will be done with this episode. So, this has been the Manapool number... Consult what OBS says. 521. Thank you all so very much for listening. And go play some Magic.